This is News 25 with Deanna O'Donnell. News 25, local news you can count on. News is brought to you by J.K. Nelson Law. Call 727-9900 today for your free consultation. If you need a lawyer, you need Nelson.
Welcome. It's Friday, September 4th. I'm Deanna O'Donnell, and this is News 25. Well, Pahrump Valley Fire and Rescue and Nye County Sheriff's Office deputies are at a home at 700 Alaska Way for a report of a structure fire late this afternoon. The fire was called into dispatch from a passerby who reported fire underneath this mobile home. Traffic is blocked currently while fire crews conduct and mop up the investigation and into the cause of this fire. Thanks to Eddie O'Brien for those photos. Well, the state's marijuana licensing process will now resume following a decision rendered yesterday by Judge Elizabeth Gonzalez. Today, Nevada Attorney General Aaron Ford says that the decision upholds the results of a competition between applicants and will enable retail marijuana stores to open. The court also declined to award monetary damages to those who filed the suit. In 2016, Nevada's electorate voted to legalize recreational marijuana. To carry out the mandate of the voters, the Department of Taxation implemented a numerically scored competition for applicants to apply to receive a retail marijuana store license. The results of that competition were announced in December of 2018. Litigation was soon initiated by some, but not all, unsuccessful applicants. These unsuccessful applicants challenged the results of the competition on various grounds and sought to void those results as unfair. Voting the results of this competition canceled the licenses issued and halted the progress of the new legal business here in the state. Well, Governor Steve Sisolak says Nevada is making progress at its fight against the coronavirus, but there's still work to be done. He stresses the importance of lifting restrictions responsibly.
Right now, our numbers are trending in the right direction. But that being said, you need to understand that we started at an extremely high level when we started bringing our numbers down. So we have a long way to go, considering the fact that we started so high. Our case numbers are decreasing. So is our 7-day average on positivity, which is extremely important. That's one of the data points, the metrics that we use most. In our three high-risk counties, Clark, Elko, and Washoe, our numbers are still extremely high. Nevada is one of only 11 states in the country that still has a positivity rate above 10%. We have to do better. We have to get that positivity number down, and we will continue to work to that regard. It's imperative that that number come down. I've learned a lot in the last 6 months. My team has learned a lot. The COVID task force has learned a lot. Our doctors and scientists have learned a lot, both on analysis, on treatment, and on mitigation. One of the things that I've learned, and the lesson that sticks with me, is we have to be careful in our reopening and aggressive in our mitigation. We flattened the curve before. You remember that. We reopened and we spiked. And as a result of that, we had to put restrictions further back into place. Just a month ago, a little over a month ago, Southern Nevada hospitals were reaching near capacity. I mean, we were at a point where we didn't have any more hospital beds or close to no more hospital beds available. We can't do that again. We can't go back. We can't afford to get back in that position again. At this 6-month point, remember when we lift restrictions, we must lift those restrictions responsibly. Our future economic recovery depends on it, and our community depends on it.
And more news right after this break.
You're watching News 25, brought to you by Star Nursery, your garden's partner for every bloomin' thing. News 25, local news you can count on.
Welcome back. Well, mortgage rates remain near record lows. FedEx is hiring thousands of workers in preparation for holiday shipping seasons, and online shopping remains strong. Angela Miles reports.
Topping our news, mortgage rates remain near record lows. The 30-year fixed rate is averaging around 2.93%. The 15-year average is 2.42. Low rates are driving Americans to buy homes, but with fewer homes on the market, the price to buy a home is on the way up, and shoppers are finding fewer deals especially in hot areas. FedEx is already ramping up for the Christmas shopping season. The delivery company plans to hire 70,000 seasonal workers to cover what is likely to be an abundance of American shipping gifts during this year's holidays. The 2020 hiring number is 27% more than last year when FedEx brought on 55,000 workers. Online shopping is on the upswing. Walmart reports customers purchasing items from its website increased 97% in the second quarter, Dick's Sporting Goods 194%, and Target had an uptick of 195%.
Thanks, Angela. Well, sad news to report. The state has confirmed late Thursday that we have one new death related to COVID-19 here in Pahrump. It's important to remember that according to the state analysis, that COVID deaths generally correspond to cases diagnosed up to 5 weeks ago. Overall, there has been 478 confirmed cases of COVID-19 positive test results, with one new positive in Pahrump reported and confirmed by this morning. There has been no new cases outside of Pahrump during the past 10 days. And Chemisys Laboratory, through Serenity Health, has partnered with Nye County to provide drive-up COVID-19 testing for Nye County and surrounding communities. Testing now in Pahrump is Monday from 7 to 9 p.m., Wednesday and Friday from 7 a.m. until 9 a.m. You don't have to register. You just show up with your identification and your insurance card. If you have insurance, if you don't have insurance or symptoms, you, of course, can still test. Testing location is at 2280 East Calvada Boulevard, Serenity Health. Here in Pahrump, number 301, people will be lining up in the Calvada eye for that testing. If you would like to make an appointment for testing, you can do that by calling 702-234-5398. And you can also email at pahrump@serenitymentalhealth.org. If you are in Tonopah, there's two different numbers, 775-302-5800 or 775-482-9898. Well, a Pahrump woman is under arrest and facing charges after she allegedly attacked her live-in ex-boyfriend.
At around 8:30 p.m. on August 23rd, Nye County Sheriff's Office responded to a report of a domestic disturbance. A male identified as the victim was waiting for law enforcement at the gate when they arrived. The victim stated that the suspect, identified as Lisa Galt, his ex-girlfriend, and he still lived together. He said that she was yelling at him, calling him racial slurs, and she physically attacked him. The victim showed the officer video he took on his phone. On the video, the suspect can be seen wearing nothing except a bra and arguing. The suspect can be seen coming toward the victim, swinging several times. She connected with several strikes. A second video showed the two arguing. The suspect grabbed a knife and raised it over her head as the victim backed away. The suspect brought the knife downward in a striking motion. Galt was arrested on domestic battery, first offense, and assault with a deadly weapon. She was transported to the Nye County Detention Center.
And a Pahrump man with a history of domestic battery is under arrest again, this time for an alleged attack against his girlfriend.
On August 22nd, Nye County Sheriff's Office responded to a Pahrump residence for a report of a domestic battery in progress. The suspect, identified as Brett Linder, was no longer at the scene. Officers interviewed the victim, who said she was in a dating relationship with Linder. She said they were arguing when it turned physical. Linder began to throw objects, and he allegedly grabbed the victim by her hair and threw her around. In an attempt to leave, the victim packed a backpack with a few belongings, including a gun case containing a loaded weapon. Once Linder realized that the victim had called the police, he opened her backpack and unlawfully stole the cased gun with intent to deprive the victim. Surveillance footage was provided to the sheriff's office showing Linder taking the loaded gun. Visible scratches to the face and bruising to the victim's arm, knee, and back area were observed. Unable to locate Linder, he was arrested at a later time and booked into the Nye County Detention Center on charges of domestic battery and grand larceny of a gun. Linder had a previous arrest for domestic battery that occurred on May 22nd.
When we come back from this break, we're going to tell you about a generous donation made to our schools.
You're watching News 25, brought to you by Mountain West Lawyer, Injury Attorneys, 727-9500. News 25, local news you can count on.
With distance learning now the norm, it's vital for students to be connected to the internet. And thanks to donations and grants, the Nye County School District is handing out internet hotspots to families without a connection. The Nevada National Security Site recently donated $34,000 to the district, which will connect 50 families. District Director of Technology Robert Williams explains how that donation came about and what the district is doing to help everyone get connected.
The president of our support services union, her husband, her name is Cheryl Tibbetts. Her husband works for the Nevada National Security Site. He saw that we had a need. He brought it up to the folks he works with. They actually reached out to us and asked if there was something we could do. We told them about how we were struggling to find a solution for students that don't have internet at home, for all of the kids who are working digitally. And they asked what it would take to cover a handful of students. So I told them the amount, which was about $34,000 for 50 students. And they took that back to their executives and then told us that they would cover that cost. We have other grants that are also providing the same hotspots. And the first 50 came in last week and I got them distributed. So we've covered all of our seniors. But we're working from the seniors and then grade levels going downward because we want to keep kids on track to graduate. And then the second priority is we identify a senior. If we don't have enough, we look for a senior that's got siblings in the school district so we can cover multiple kids at one time. The Nevada National Security Site, those devices actually came in Friday afternoon. I've been working today to assign them so I can get them out to schools tomorrow. And that'll cover another 50. And then we are applying for another grant to provide about another 150 to 200 devices. Right now we have about 220 families that appear to need internet access at home. I know a couple of families that have checked out Hotspots from the library because they also purchased Hotspots with some CARES money, I believe. And sometimes they can use parking lot Wi-Fi. If they pull up to the school, they can still use the Wi-Fi network right there from the school. Some go to neighbors, I guess, and I'm not sure what everybody's doing. These particular devices, Khajiit, are specific to education. They're filtered, they're COPPA compliant. That's the Children's Online Privacy and Protection Act. Mm-hmm. So it is filtered access, which is why we can provide them from the school district. I've sent 3 to Beatty. And 1 to Tonopah. The list that I'm processing right now, there's another 2 or 3 for Tonopah and a couple more for Beatty. I don't have quite as many students from Round Mountain on the list or Gabbs, and Duckwater's fully covered.
Well, when disasters strike, there's a good chance the American Red Cross and its army of volunteers is there to help. On top of a number of natural disasters this year, the coronavirus pandemic is having an impact on the organization. Gail McGovern is president and CEO of the American Red Cross. She says generous donations have helped, but the people upended by natural disasters will need more assistance than ever, and the Red Cross is always in need of volunteers and monetary donations.
I want to say that our hearts go out to the hundreds and thousands of people that have been impacted by these multiple disasters, the derecho, the wildfire, and now Hurricane Laura. And we're responding to all 3 on an ongoing basis. There are about 700,000 homes that were impacted from that hurricane. And these are homes that don't have power or maybe don't have running water, or they have issues with the sewage system. And there are about 6,000 homes that had major damage or were completely destroyed. And of course, people are suffering because of this, and they're especially suffering because it's right during a pandemic. So people need our help more than ever. And I am just so proud of our volunteers because they're coming out in the same number as they did before COVID hit. And we're so grateful for each and every one of them. We are still fulfilling our mission every single day, but we had to change the way we deliver our mission. So, for example, in the hurricanes and the wildfires, we put as many people as possible in hotels, and we're keeping them safe that way. And when we open up shelters, we're opening up more of them, so fewer people are in them. We are making sure that they are safe as well. We're keeping social distance from where the cots are from each other. We have lots of hand sanitizer. Everyone has to wear masks, and we screen people before they are entering the shelter. So it's changed our protocol, but not our mission. Our volunteers, as I mentioned, are amazing and they've turned out, but they're getting tired and we can always use more volunteers. And during this time when people are feeling helpless and they don't know what to do, volunteering is an amazing and fulfilling thing. And we could really use some financial support. Hurricane Laura looks like it's going to cost us about $20 million. And so far, only $2.1 million has come through our front door. So we can use the help financially and also we can use volunteers.
Wow, I'd love to volunteer. To make a monetary donation or learn about volunteer opportunities, you can go online to redcross.org. You can even give them a call at 1-800-RED-CROSS. Well, for today's Save a Pet, we head to Desert Haven Animal Society where we meet Storm.
Today's Save a Pet is proudly sponsored by Jason Ernest with Mountain West Lawyers. Call 775-727-9500.
In today's Save a Pet, we have Storm. Storm is a female cattle mix that is white and black. She was an owner surrender. She's medium size and approximately 2.5 years old. If you would like to see Storm or any of her friends at Desert Haven Animal Society, you can give them a call, 775-751-7020, or you can stop by Desert Haven Animal Society on Surrey Lane, right off of Basin Avenue behind the Nye County Courthouse. You can also look them up on Facebook at Desert Haven Animal Society.
News 25 Weather Cam is brought to you by Lerner and Rowe Injury Attorney's Office in Pahrump. In a wreck, need a check? Call 702-877-1500.
Hi, it's John Kohler from Channel 25 KPVM Weather Studios, and we're here at Mount Charleston. Yeah, lots of great places to see up in Mount Charleston, Lee Canyon, Kyle Canyon. Why don't you go on up there, beat the heat a little bit this weekend. A couple closures up there we like to let you know about. The Spring Mountain Visitors Gateway, that will be closed up at Mount Charleston. Also the Hilltop Campground. And there's like a SVG picnic area that's closed due to COVID. But other than that, it's wide open, great place to beat the heat. And we'll tell you all about that and the heat you're beating when we come back.
News 25 weather is brought to you by Dairy Council of Nevada. The splash of cream in your coffee, the dollop of sour cream on your burrito, the melted toasty cheese on your pizza. Undeniably delicious, undeniably dairy. Enjoy what's real.
Good evening, Nevada. It's John Kohler from the KPVM Channel 25 Weather Studios, and this is your weather update for all up and down the great state of Nevada. Let's start off in Fernley as we do. 102 degrees was your high today. 64 will be your low tonight. Nice. Fallon here at 103 degrees. That's kind of fuego. 60 degrees for a low tonight. That'll feel much better. Carson City, you're checking in at 100 degrees as this deadly heat grips the state. 58 degrees for a low tonight. 98 in Tonopah this evening, checking in until about 7 o'clock. And then it'll cool off nicely to about 61 degrees. That'll feel good. Goldfield, well, what do you hear? You're smoking Goldfield, 99 degrees. 61 for a low. Out in Beatty, it's really getting fuego. 107 is your high today, 70 for a low. Oh, man, I did so much work on my thesaurus yesterday. Now the words just escaped me. It's 111 degrees in Las Vegas as we speak, and 74 will be your low tonight. Out in Death Valley, 121 degrees. Who had the over in Death Valley? Who had it? Somebody's got to take weather action. It's important. I think it would be fun. 88 degrees for a low tonight. Let's look at the local temperature, shall we? 108 degrees in beautiful Pahrump. Under clear skies, a little bit of wind out of the southwest, 8 miles an hour, and just a trace of humidity, 8%. It's just gonna give you a healthy glow on your forehead. 8% humidity, sounds good. Sunrise this morning was 6:18. I was up to see it. I could barely see just as the moon was coming down. The sun was coming up, and there was just so much light this morning. It was amazing. 108 degrees currently. A low tonight, we'll feel it at 78 degrees. Winds continuing eastwardly at 6 miles an hour. Humidity coming up a little bit as we head towards morning. 12% humidity is what we'll expect tonight, and the sunset at 7:06. We lost about 4 or 5 minutes of daylight. We kind of miss those daylights, don't we? I kind of miss them. Hey, let's look at these temperatures as we head on into the Labor Day weekend. Oh, my patriotic tie is on fire, and so is your high temperatures. 109 degrees Saturday, 110 Sunday. Monday, not much relief, 110 degrees. Tuesday, we turn the corner, 94 degrees. Will be your high on Tuesday and sneaking down to 89 Wednesday, 92 Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It's going to get better and better as we go. So reasons to be excited for later in the week. But, you know, you got the Labor Day weekend, and that's always a treat. So enjoy that Labor Day weekend. Stay hydrated. And that's your weather report from the KPVM Weather Studios. I'm John Kohler.
Thanks so much, John. It's muy caliente in here. I got to tell you, John, it's fun to watch to see how he can avoid saying the word hot. We are like, you're saying hot too much. So he got a thesaurus. So it's so much fun, entertaining. We got to tell you about the car seat event happening tomorrow from 9 until noon at Pahrump Valley Auto Plaza, located at 20 East Charleston Park Avenue, being put on by the Nye Communities Coalition in partnership with Pahrump Valley Auto Plaza and Nye County Sheriff's Office and Nevada Department of Public Safety and everybody else. You can go get your car seat checked. You can even get a new car seat because they're giving out some. And so come on by from 9 until noon, September 5th, Saturday. And we want to remind everybody that we won't be here on Monday. We will be taking the day off so all of our employees can have a wonderful Labor Day weekend with you. And we'll be having a rebroadcast of tonight's news. So we hope that you have a happy and safe Labor Day weekend. There are saturation patrols happening, so please drive careful. And we'll see you back here on Tuesday. Good night.